Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the Tennessee because this ship is back and available for purchase. If you're willing to go with loot boxes, it is loot box only. We're back here, guys. Again, it hasn't even been 2 months since the last time I've talked about this, but Wargaming bringing back ships for a limited time for sale, quote unquote. I'm using air quotes there very heavily. For loot boxes only. You have to gamble on them. There is no direct purchase option for Tennessee, and I will always make a video like this as long as Wargaming continues down this unfortunate path where we don't even have a direct purchase option. I'm right there with you in thinking the Admiral packs are too much, but at least with this Blue Archive event, if you want those ships, there is a direct purchase option. So with Tennessee, you're getting cruiser dispersion with a lot of compromises elsewhere. Your armor's not great, it's incredibly slow, although it does have very good concealment, but the caliber is quite low as well. 356 is here, but cruiser dispersion battleship guns, it's really interesting to play. You don't have overmatch, but when someone goes broadside, you should be doing insane damage to them. Consistency, it's very fun. It's a different kind of ship to play. Unfortunately though, it's only available for these loot boxes. So if you go to the armory in early access, there's this US Destroyers early access thing, and there are a total of 66 bundles, each one for 1,250 doubloons. Now, if you get the full package of 66 bundles, they'll give you a 20% discount. How generous, right? That is 66,000 doubloons to guarantee yourself a Tennessee. And we could say that is a guaranteed price. You can guarantee the Tennessee for only 66,000 doubloons. I just think that is so absurdly high that it doesn't really count as a guaranteed price. Although with how things are going with these Admiral packs and how expensive they're getting, maybe that isn't as insane as I think. Perhaps in a few years, Wargaming will already be at that level with Admiral packs too. But that translates to about 350 Canadian dollars in doubloons, getting the biggest packs I can get out of the premium shop. So that's a 50,000 doubloons chest for 261 Canadian, and then 17,500 doubloons for another $91 Canadian. It seems ridiculous to me. Do you guys remember when tier 8 battleships would be released and it'd be like 12, 13,000 doubloons and it wouldn't be removed from sale instantly and you could just buy it if you wanted it? Or even if you didn't want it right away, you could wait a few months, years even, and the ship would still be there in the premium shop if you later decided you wanted to buy it for that direct purchase of around, what, 50, 60 bucks? Man, what a change in this video game, eh? Not only are the costs insanely high, but they're not even consistently around. And now Wargaming's actually removed ships being consistently available for sale with this content rotation idea. How far we have fallen. And Wargaming, if you're watching this, I'm going to give you the exact same feedback I've already given you, all right? I really think this is going way too far. I'm okay with these gambling events, these loot box events being in the game, all right? As long as there is a direct purchase option alongside it, okay? That's all I'm asking for. If you can commit to having that as an option, we don't have to have these dedicated videos where I hardly even talk about the ships coming into the game or available to purchase or available to grind out. I just have to talk about the terrible monetization. I don't want to make these videos every month and a half. Please, help me be a better content creator for your game. I don't want to constantly have to point out these problems. Maybe I'm overdoing it here. You guys can let me know in the comments down below, okay? Maybe I'm overdoing it here. But I remember starting out in this game and rarely buying myself premium time. I would only do it if there was a new line I really wanted to grind through, and that would help me get there quicker. But then I would just stop and not even re-up on premium time. Maybe there would be a premium ship, like a Massachusetts, for example, that I really wanted. And then maybe I would buy that for 50 or 60 bucks. What is it with these new updates, these recent years, where if I was still that player back then, would I really be all that interested in all these new events coming to the game? Perhaps I would be tricked into trying my luck at some of these loot boxes. and then being sorely disappointed when I spent close to or more than what that $50, $60 tier 8 premium ship would be normally, and I would get essentially nothing for it. Maybe Wargaming's going to argue that there are plenty of other rewards in these loot boxes, and sure, there's tokens and camos. That's not what we're here for. We're here for the ship, okay? We want the ship. That's why we're engaging with this horrible system. Please, just give us the option to buy it outright. And that way you have a legitimate claim to saying if you're engaging with these loot boxes, you're probably there for more than just the ship. Maybe you want some of the other cosmetic rewards or other small little items in the game. But when you lock the premium ship that people want into these loot boxes only, that excuse just no longer holds any water. It falls apart completely because that's the only way for people to actually get the ship that they may be interested in. Tennessee is definitely an interesting ship. I don't even think it's that overpowered, honestly. You're seeing some of these salvos here where we're getting insane damage into broadsides, but then there's an angled ship and they take quite a bit less damage. In fact, that Bayard got like 8 bounces in an earlier clip. You can actually angle to this one as a cruiser. Not all cruisers, lower tier cruisers certainly, but there's some mid-tier cruisers still that can actually angle to these guns. You get punished when you make a mistake and go broadside. You take way reduced damage from this one when you angle to it. And that's really what I've been interested in from Battleship play. It's a ship that I really like the design of because it rewards you for playing well, both playing Tennessee and fighting against it. I think it's really great game design. I think it's a great ship design. And I wish more people could get this ship for a reasonable cost. When this ship was introduced to the game, if you'll remember, back in 2024 fall, I think, this was the Leyte Gulf event, and they gave it away for free. There was mission chains, and they did not tell us the mission chains up front. So I was still critical because I had no idea if the mission chains would be as hard as initial Puerto Rico dockyard or as easy as the Tennessee mission chains turned out to be. Communication has always been an issue on Wargaming's part, and I would have promoted the absolute crap out of that Leyte Gulf event if they had told me up front that the mission chains weren't too hard, and that way I could easily recommend grinding for Tennessee and ignoring the Admiral Pack that they left up for a single week. The first week is the only Admiral Pack time direct purchase option. There was no standard bundle either, so tons of these little tricks that they're constantly pulling. It's so difficult to make content on these events and things coming into the game these days when I'm always having to consider the cost. The insane cost. And am I engaging and forced to engage with random drop chances? No. At that point, you're not really even spending money to get a guaranteed outcome. At that point, it really is just gambling, in my opinion. And I hate that. I really do. It's fine as an option if you want to have people engage with that, but don't make it mandatory to actually receive the interesting new content for the game. Please, Wargaming, please, just give us an option. I'm repeating this a ton, okay? Maybe I'm just stun-locked, caught in a loop here, and I can't move on, but this is just horrible, okay? I personally feel bad making content about this game, and all that new content is only available in early access loot boxy events. It feels awful to me to make content like that, and rightfully so. All the comments are just complaining or dismayed, sad at the fact that that new content isn't going to be available for a reasonable purchase price or even to grind out for quite a while. What's the point of getting excited about that new content then if you know it's so absurdly priced that you'll never get access to it, or at least you'll have to wait for an incredibly long time? There's no point in even watching the video or getting excited about that new content coming to the game. This is my perspective. Perhaps I'm wrong. Seriously, I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below on this. I will change my direction, as all that matters to me is you guys in the audience, okay? People watching my videos who enjoy the content, enjoy this game, want to see different kinds of gameplay, perhaps learn a thing or two from me, or understand what new content is coming to the game, all right? That's all that matters, okay? I am very lucky, okay, to be able to do this and it pays my bills, okay? I am so lucky to be in that position. And the only way that continues, and I get to remain super lucky to have this as my job, is if you guys keep watching the videos. So you're my boss, all right? So what you say goes. So seriously, let me know about what this monetization looks like, how I can tweak my videos. I don't think Wargaming is actually going to listen to me, but I really do want to continue this conversation as long as it's a problem that you guys think is a big problem. And with that said, Tennessee is a great ship. I really have a big problem with it here because Tennessee is unique, and it is a ship that was only available for a short period of time in an event, and then it was gone. And I think there's going to be a lot of you that are interested in getting this ship. Perhaps you're newer to the game, but perhaps you just missed out on that event. You were taking a break from the game. Understandable. And now that it's back, the only way to access it is from these loot boxes. Cruiser dispersion, battleship guns, small detection, but it's incredibly slow. You do have a fast cooldown on the heal, which is really useful for helping you stay alive. But this ship does get punished. It's only got like 32 millimeters of armor. It's a large superstructure. Takes a lot of damage from almost any angle, really. The superstructure here is just that massive. HE is going to pen it everywhere, and it cannot run away from HE spam. So you have to position this one very, very carefully to get the most out of it. Not only to get fine broadsides, because that's really all your damage is coming from broadsides. Into angle chips, you're really not doing a whole lot, but also to stay alive. And you'll notice in this battle, we actually spawned over towards the A cap and ended here over at the D cap. Took me a long time to get there. The ship is terribly slow, and it does not have the improved acceleration of the Vermont line. If you're thinking of this like a tier 8 Vermont, it certainly isn't that. It's got a shorter reload, which is nice, but also does not have the overmatch characteristics that Vermont has that allows it to have these insanely devastating salvos almost all the time when it's loaded. And it does not have the improved acceleration either that the Vermont now gets. So it does play quite differently. I prefer this because I'm a big fan of more consistent damage into broadsides. I think I just aimed low there on the King George. Okay, I wasn't perfect on my aim point here in all these games. But I love more consistent damage into broadsides and less damage into angled ships. I think that's cause for rewarding people for playing well and punishing people for playing poorly. And that's why I think this is such a cool ship and why I'm so disappointed in this monetization method here with this new US destroyers in early access. And I'm sure one of the ways they're going to try to justify this most wanted random bundle loot box extravaganza is that Sherman is also available in these random bundles. So for 350 Canadian dollars, you're getting Tennessee and Sherman guaranteed. But Sherman you should be getting for coal, man. Like, oh, it's just thrown in there to artificially inflate it. It feels sneaky to me, you know? It feels a little underhand. It feels a little slimy, doesn't it? Maybe I'm overreacting to this. Maybe I am, but I really want to hear your guys' opinions on this one because this just feels wrong to me. It feels so wrong. As an option, sure, but to remove the direct, seemingly honest, over-the-counter, above-board way to insert money and get what you want, just to not even be an option, it's absurd, man. What is going on? Yoink a little crack in there at the end. Finally managed to get myself an E in Tennessee here right at the end. Took me a little while. Had some games there where I wasn't doing a whole lot. Really, the speed was the biggest problem, is if you spawn on the wrong flank and it's a blowout, there's really not a whole lot you can do because you're not actually getting into that fight before it's over. You know, while I'm here complaining, because that's apparently what I do on this channel a lot, I'm still so sad that we didn't get the Independence Day port. I've been playing a bit of Legends to try and grind to the Wisconsin over there. They've added an infinite reload booster Wisconsin to try and get the F key making sense on the console game. That Independence Day port, man, it looks so good, and then they just didn't do it for the PC game. I mean, is the PC game just an afterthought these days? I don't know. But here it is, USDD's in early access down here as well. And then this is where you'll find everything. How do you get excited about the Burrows line coming in when it's this much to get early access? 2 months early access. There's not really much else here other than trying your luck at getting a Tennessee. And the cost is just... I mean, what is even exciting about this update? All right, current update. What do we got? Yes, we got early access, which if you're spending a reasonable amount or even free to play, let's say 20, 30 bucks on the game per month, which is still like a lot in a year, much more than even things like Mario Kart World would be, as an example. Event pass. Okay, there we go. We can get ourselves, what, a West Virginia 41? Okay, there you go. There's an older premium, but that's something. Not new content for someone spending 20 to 30 bucks a month on to get excited about. Oh, limited time mechanics. Okay, so we're getting more of the experimental ships, sure. Graphics update where they removed MSAA. I'm still a little annoyed at that, I gotta say. They even show it in the comparison. I want it back, Wargaming, please. Please, let me use an anti-aliasing method that doesn't just create a bunch of ghosting artifacts. Notice how they use stills here? They don't actually move the camera. That's the weakness of TAA and TSS, as a quick aside. What else do we have? We have content rarity system. Great for people engaging in the loot box drops. That's about it. It's just trying to give artificial dopamine when you're opening a ton of boxes up. I mean, like, really? Really? Ship rotation. We're actually removing old content that's been consistently available for years so that we can create some artificial scarcity out of it. Again, what's exciting for an average player? Free to play, 20, 30 bucks a month. Container barge improvements. Okay, I mean, we've been talking about, it's just about the whole loot box gamble opening. Unbreakable lines back, cool. That's cool game mode if you're interested in it. We have ranked in brawls, cool. Blue Archive, this is incredibly expensive, or it's more gambling for them. I mean, it's direct purchase, but it's like 150 bucks, 180 bucks Canadian. That's a lot. Reductions to recruiting station, okay. And that's about it. So when that's your update, that's the update. I mean, am I wrong in saying that if there's an average player, maybe I'm overthinking who the average player is. Again, let me know. But 20 to 30 bucks a month, it's more than I spent on this game the first like 4 or 5 years I was playing it. There's just nothing to get excited about. There's nothing new, exciting here. That's disappointing. That's really disappointing. Maybe I'm losing touch. Maybe I'm going too far the other way. I'm trying not to just become, oh, CC guy gets all this content delivered to these accounts to make content on, so I just ignore the cost for a normal player. I'm really trying not to desensitize to that, okay? And maybe I'm going overboard in trying to calibrate for that and avoid that scenario. But this is too much, man. It seems like way too much. It's gone way too far, Wargaming. Please give a direct purchase option alongside these loot box gambling events that you love so much. Please, if a ship is available in a box that is currently listed for a sale or anything like that, just also make it available for a direct purchase alongside. Even if there's these limited time rotations, sure. But if there's a box for it, also make an Admiral pack even. I'll still complain about that, but I won't have to make dedicated videos like this. I'll make a video on the ship, and I'll just have that as a mention. It'll be a bullet point within that entire video on the ship. Instead of the monetization discussion just taking over the entire video. Even on a ship that I really like. And I would love to talk about the gameplay and strategies with it more. And I just can't. Because I feel like I have to talk about this crazy monetization. So please, help me be a better CC by making this game better for the average player. Please, Wargaming. As for the build on this one, I was going very greedy by the end of it. Wouldn't recommend Furious Heavy AP on a ship that is so slow that you just can't get away from HE spam. But I was trying it. Nearly died a couple times. You definitely want the extra heals on this one for the short cooldown, right? It's 40-second cooldown. It's really nice. Fire prevention would probably be a much better pick over Furious. You can go heavy AP just because these shells are incredibly low caliber. I mean, 356 is fine, but for tier 8, we're expecting around 406, 380 at the lowest, right? So we're lacking in pen, we're lacking in flight speed. There's more These are lighter shells, so they lose some velocity over range compared to heavier shells, for example. So sniping isn't as good with this one. And that extra damage is nice, but the extra fire duration can get you into some bad situations. Decent amount of HP up front, but that can evaporate quickly when your armor looks like this. 32 everywhere, giant, boxy superstructure. You do take a lot of damage that way. This ship, though, does have an underwater citadel. This is kind of my one complaint here on the design of rewarding playing well, punishing mistakes. How punished are you for going broadside in this ship when a battleship finds you broadside, right? When your citadel's this below water. It's kind of my one thing here, where if it was a waterline or a little above waterline citadel, then it would be almost perfect, I would say, as far as rewarding you for playing well, punishing you for playing poorly on both ends of fighting this ship and playing this ship. The equipment I ended up running looked like this. No extra range. You could for like that minuscule data mined improvement to accuracy, but it's so small it had to be data mined for anybody to really even know about it. Your turret traverse is much bigger issue, okay? Even with main battery mod 2, it's still over 40 seconds. Very, very slow for, remember, 356s. It's not a fair comparison, but let's consider Ohio 457s of a 30-second traverse. I know, like, this is actually a good balancing factor. Again, rewarding you for pre-turning turrets, I actually like it, but it is a downside of the ship, and I want to be avoiding that as much as possible, or trying to mitigate it. And then, of course, concealment here, because the concealment is just so good on this one. It's maybe the other thing, the concealment should be a little worse, so we're not surprising so many cruisers without heals and armor at these lower tiers. But that's a minor complaint overall. It's a great ship with horrific monetization. Again, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please, I really do want to know what you think about this monetization in particular and how my content is going around it. What do you think of this video? Is this the kind of video I should be making more of when these events come around? Or are you tired of CC guy complaining all the time and just play the ship, bro, and tell me how to do it? Maybe that's a reasonable thing to say too. Let me know. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.